Hello everyone and welcome back to another must-see, a very beautiful chess game from the chess history. So in this chess game we have Henry Edward Bird with the white pieces, British chess master, and his opponent is James Mason in this chess game with the black pieces. So this was from a match between Bird and Mason from 1875-76. So this was played on December 31 in New York, United States. And the first player to score the 11th win was going to be victorious in this match, and it was quite a one-sided match. James Mason easily defeated Henry Edward Bird with scoring 11th win, and Henry Bird only scored 4 wins against Mason. So it was quite a comfortable match for James Mason. Mason was of course much more superior chess player compared to Henry Bird. Mason was one of the heavyweights of chess in that era. So let's see what happened in this chess game. This is a must-see, a pretty notable, entertaining chess game. So Henry Bird had the white pieces, but I want to check out this chess game from the perspective of James Mason. So Henry Bird starts the game with the flank opening, which is the Bird opening, and this is his own opening. So after f4, James Mason plays Gambit, and this is known as from Gambit. And this Gambit is known as little bit risky, a double-edged Gambit, but on the other hand, it is also logical. So e5, f takes on e5, and then d6, sacrificing a pawn, and you can see that black is developing very quickly. Knight to f3, bishop to g4, e4, knight to f6, d3, and then castling, bishop to g5, pinning the knight, knight to c6, developing the knight, and then bishop to e2. And white is only one move away from castling, but in this position, Mason decided to capture the knight and give up his light square bishop. After bishop takes on f3, bishop to c5, and white can't castle now. So knight to c3, and then queen to d4, and James Mason is threatening checkmate, so Bird played queen to d2, defending, and then knight to d7. So relocating the knight is the idea, and then knight to d1, and we can say that Henry Bird is a little bit passive, and in this position Bird wants to play a bishop to e3 and then simplify the game. Knight is getting in, and simply bishop to e3, queen goes back, and bishop takes on c5, queen takes on c5, but still you can see that Bird can't castle. So queen to f2, and Bird wants to exchange the queens, but Mason says no, check. Well, blocking has a downside, capturing the pawn with the knight, forking the king and the queen. And blocking with the knight is also not very good, because I think queen takes on b2. So Bird is blocking, queen to d2, and then queen to c5. Maybe repeating the moves comes to mind in this position. But Bird wants more. So he played knight to c3, developing the knight, but then rook over, and queen to f2, lining the rook with the queen, but Bird plays queen to f2 and insisting on exchanging the queens. Well, the knight is getting one step closer, and in this position, a mysterious move happened, which was a mystery to everyone. Bird played bishop to d1, and I actually didn't understand the purpose of this move. Which move was the better move in this position? Well, you're going to be surprised, but actually castling in this position is completely safe for white, and black is only slightly better, so it is hard to understand why Henry Edward Bird preferred this very passive and time-wasting move. But when we see these weak and illogical moves, unlogical moves, we can actually learn from the mistakes of these players. So this was a mistake, and this gives black an important chance to develop one another piece. So this gives a very important tempo. Rook to d6, lifting the rook up, and then rook to f6 is also on the cards. So knight to d5, and also defending on f6. But in this position, Mason Of course, he has the superior position and he wants to open the e-file, so he sacrificed the exchange. Rook takes on d5. Now the fireworks is going to happen. So e takes on d5 and checking the king, and now this is very dangerous. So blocking with the queen, queen to d2. But you might also ask what happens if pushing the pawn. Then again, knight takes on d3, forking the king and the queen, and if capturing the queen, we can capture the rook and black is better. So queen to d2 in this position after checking the king. But in this position, James Mason has a very strong move. Can you guess that move? It is a very simple move. So this is a small chess problem for you to solve. The solution is very simple, but if you want, you can also pause the video. So I'm going to give you 3 seconds for those who wants to pause the video. 1, 2, and 3. So this is the move. James Mason played knight takes on d3. And Henry Bird didn't capture the knight. He didn't even move the king. Well, he resigned in this position because this is all over. You can't capture the knight with the queen because the queen is pinned. If moving the king, well, we can capture the queen, and this is doom and gloom. And after knight takes on d3, if capturing the knight, this time this open e-file is going to be very handy for black. So rook to e8, and you can't block with the queen, and you can't also move the king because we will capture the queen. And you can't block with the queen because the queen is pinned, so you can, block with the bishop, but this is not working because of rook takes on e2. The queen is pinned. So after moving the king, queen takes on d2. What a crushing defeat for Henry Edward Bird against James Mason. Quite a terrible chess game for Henry Edward Bird. And what a game for James Mason. Not the most accurate, brilliant chess game, but again, we can learn from the mistakes of these chess players, and we can get some lessons by watching them. And the final combination was also pretty aesthetic and beautiful by Mason. So again, Mason easily defeated Henry Edward Bird in this match. He was the superior chess player. Bird was a little bit more inferior compared to Mason, and it was a one-sided, comfortable match for Mason. And this was one of the easy wins for James Mason. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Stay safe, take care, and bye-bye.